Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, where we relax and craft and worked on a project together. We just finished up block 3 from the Jacqueline Steves I Love Home block of the month, and now for the rest of October we're gonna have Finish It Fall. So if you have a project that you just haven't finished yet and you want to break out, now is the time to do it. We will be finishing up projects in between the next block that will be coming up November 6th. So November 6th we'll get block 4 from the I Love Home block of the month, but today I am going to work more on my English paper piecing. Here I have a bunch of the pieces still in here, the paper pieces, but I'm going to be working on my hand-stitched project by Blair from Wisecraft. It's from the Wisecraft Quilts book. And about from here down is done. I'm going to work on putting the little phalanges on the top tonight. So we'll be doing this for a couple days, the actual hand-stitched part, and then I would like to put it on, like sew it onto a pillow when I'm done. So it'll be kind of something like this. This is an 18-inch pillow. I want to make kind of like, I think like a dark purple cover for the pillow, and then I'll hand stitch this on to that when we're ready. So first I have to finish it. It's been a little while since we've worked on this project, so it'll be, we'll begin back in it tonight. I think today and tomorrow for sure will be, oh, there's Blair right here. Blair, I'm working on your project again tonight. So I think we'll have at least 2 days of the English paper piecing yet, maybe 3, but then I will be stitching it onto the pillow and making a pillow. Bonnie, I believe you can get the papers still. I do have a link in my post to get the papers. These are the Wisecraft papers that are all pre-made. So like, they're all the little paper templates. So I didn't have to cut these or anything. They were all ready to go, which, you know, so I have some in here still. It just makes the project so much easier versus having to find your own, the right sizes and measure them and do it all yourself. So definitely recommend getting the paper pieces for this. You can reuse them however many times you want. Oh, Blair is saying, yep, they're still available. So great. These are from Blair. So this is her project. We are working on it some more. Again, here's my little template drawing for it. And so like I said, we were like, here down is done. And now I just need to finish the leaves and these little pentagon guys up on top there. Okay, oh, you finished yours into a table topper. Yay, Tamara, that's awesome. Oh, that's what you're working on now. Awesome. What is the difference? Oh, and the color of the templates. It doesn't mean anything. It was just, I think, manufactured at a different time. The difference in the color isn't anything. They're all the same thickness. When you buy them, they'll probably be all the same color. So there's nothing big about the different colors. I think it was just a different process. So, all right, I'm gonna flip you around. We will get going. Yeah, I think they were just made at different times. So doesn't matter at all that they're different colors. So, all right, so here's kind of where we left off last time. And you know what? I'm gonna get I got a little butcher block out. I'm going to just raise you guys up a little higher so you can see a little bit better. So, all right, where we left off last time is I was able to prep these pieces, and I still have all the squares to do. So the squares get tucked into here, and then 2 of them get tucked in here. And then, you know, we still have the little pentagons that go here. But my plan was I was going to cover these 4 squares in fabric. And then I was gonna do like sew all of them along the like perimeter here, and then with a new piece of, I mean, that might be a little long for one piece of thread, but we're gonna give it a try. And then we'll go back and then hit all these little radiating seams that come out of it. And then, you know, then after that, of course, we still need to put the little pentagon guys on the tips here. 4 of those yet. So that's the plan. I got Zeb and Phil out here with my needle. I'm using the size, ooh, I don't see it here. Maybe it's on Zeb here or Phil here. Oh, so, okay, great. So I've misplaced my needle somewhere. So I'm going to use, this is the size, I think like 8 needle maybe. So I was using a size 12 or a size 10 straw needle. So this is a little thicker, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, that scares me that there is a needle on the loose somewhere around here. So that'll be an adventure. All right, I'm going to get started tonight. Well, that is a mystery that I don't like here. It might be I have my travel go-to case here. I might have put it within these needles here. It scares me that there's a needle that is missing. All right, well, that'll be a project for the weekend, right? The story of your life, Gretchen? Oh, man. Usually I'm pretty good about that, but I don't know, I'm freaking out a little bit now. All right, so I have my 4 bits here. I'm going to move this guy for a sec. And we've determined that gray is what these 4 are going to be. So I have some scrap gray fabric. Let's just grab from there. I think right away I want to use these kitties. I haven't used the cats yet. So let's, ooh, this is a nice big chunk of fabric here yet. So I've been trying to blatantly like avoid full-on cutting out characters. So I've been kind of cutting out in the middle of characters. That's been kind of fun. So I'll probably go maybe like right here. So I'm going to flip it around to the wrong side. I know that's why I wear why you wear shoes sewing, and now you got me thinking about that a whole lot more. I think I am going to have to wear shoes. You're the same way you don't use pins for that reason. Oh, your husband usually finds the needle. Oh man. Yeah, I'm literally like, where the heck would that be? Because I'm usually really good about putting things back where I find them, but this is the thicker needle. I don't know where else it would be. That's the scary thing. All right, I'm going to pretend it's going to pop up and not in my foot. So, all right, I am going to start by just prepping these 4 pieces. And before we get too far, you notice I punched a hole into here, and that is so when we're done, I can easily just stick a needle or a pin or something in the hole here, and I can pop it right out. So instead of like digging around in here and trying to get the edge to pop out your piece, I always punch holes in because then you can pop the piece right out. And then it's you're gonna damage them less, I think, too, and then you can reuse them a little bit more easily. Because you can reuse these templates when you're done. Look on the back of your piece where you left off. I don't know, I don't usually keep, that would have been weird for me to put the needle in this piece. Nope, I don't see it in the actual project. I don't know, it's gone. But we were using it for something else. Oh, we were using it for needle turn. Huh. We were using it for the needle turn applique on the other project. So, I don't know. I'm scared. But let's punch holes in the rest of these because I guess it looks like I only did it for 1 piece. So I have my little hole punch here. This is a fun little hole punch. It's just an 1/8 of an inch hole. It doesn't need, I mean, you can use a normal sized hole punch. I think the normal size is usually 1/4 of an inch hole. But, you know, I got this one for some fancy reason at some point, and I like it. All right. Got my little glue stick, my Soline glue stick. Yeah, I use it for the I Love Home applique. You're right, Lucy. And but why didn't I put it back into Zeb here? It should be, unless this is, oh, ha. All right, it's right here. I thought this was a short little needle. Because I have a few short needles, it's right here. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. It's just like Zeb can just hold really long needles. So here it is. We're safe. It's exactly where I thought it was. It just looked different. Whew. Okay. Feels good. Oh, God. All right, let's glue this guy down. I'm just going to put a tiny dab of glue to get things going. And I want to freak myself out. All right, I want to have at least a good 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Zeb was hiding it. All right, and I'm going to trim this right away. Again, about a 1/4 inch. It doesn't need to be quite a 1/4 inch. It can be a little smaller, I think. And it doesn't need to be cut perfectly either. I'm totally just, winging it here. It can be a one giant blob. There we go. I think I'll make it a little smaller on this seam allowance. But there is my first one. I know, deep breath, right? All right, back in business. It's gonna be one of those days, right? Okay, so I need, here's my first, well, let's just finish this piece while I got the glue here before moving on to the next one. So I'm gonna do glue along one of the edges and fold it over. I'm doing the glue basting again. Yeah, Phil did it while Zeb wasn't looking exactly Deborah. I don't know. Little jerk butts, that's what's happening. Playing tricks on me. All right. Going around all the edges. So if I was to travel and stuff, I'd probably thread baste this instead because I don't really trust this glue to stay forever. But since we're stitching it right away, I'm not going to worry so much. But yeah, if you are doing this more as a long-term project, then I would think about thread basting it. And we've gone through over that a little bit. At least it wasn't buried in a huge cone of floss. Oh God, I know, right, Gretchen? Oh yeah, maybe it was trick-or-treating. All right, here we go. There we go. So now this reads as gray. I didn't want it to read as like cat face. So it just has some little cat feet in there. All right, that's one gray piece. I want to try and use different ones than I've used already, but that's not going to end up being perfect. So we'll just pick. Here's another one. Here's a chunk over here that we can use for gray. You know what? I'm going to just snip this off. All right, let's take another one of these. I'll just plop it right there. And you don't need to use this Soline glue stick either. You can just use any normal like kids glue stick. Oh yeah, so you're using the regular Elmer's glue sticks for this, Sherry. Yeah, that's perfect. I just happened to have this. I was cleaning up and remembered that, hey, I think I have one of those Soline glue sticks. And it was I got it before the time I knew what to use it for. And then I remembered, oh, hey, I think I have that. And I found it. But yeah, Elmer's glue stick, just a simple, non-toxic type glue that's not permanent. Like an Elmer's white glue or something is perfect, or a little glue stick. Okay, that's number 2 here. Let's glue that on. I am in the use up all the things mode, so I remembered that I had this. I'm like, oh, let's use that tool up. But I cleaned my office this weekend, and you wouldn't even know that I cleaned it really. I mean, it is tidied up, but I went through all the drawers, and dang, they just, a drawer is this big. I don't know how something this big can like scatter stuff all across the floor, like have enough surface area that it can hold to cover a floor. It's kind of crazy. So I had 2 kind of little desks in my office, and I cleaned out all the drawers from both of them, and I kind of reorganized that, and it took a full weekend to do that. But now I'm, things are in places where I can use them. I brought some things out here where they're more likely to be used, instead of sitting in a drawer for 10 years. So I'm pretty pretty happy about that. All right, I used this one already. I think I'll set that to the side. Maybe this kind of white one. Let's do something with this. I think I can get it right at the end here. Just 2 more for this and we'll be all done. I don't know if it'll even fit right here. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty close. I think we had this situation already. This side though looks good. Yeah, we'll go right there. I'm ready to get stitching. And I could iron these and stuff, but I'll just iron it when I'm done. Trim that all the way up. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't need a rotary cutter or anything. You're just cutting blobs. It's kind of like the foundation paper piecing where we were just cutting blobs and then it turns out just fine. We should try another one of those, another foundation paper piecing project. Oh, you need a cool way to hold your rulers. Yeah, I have not perfected that yet either, Gretchen. I have some hooks now and I really like it, but it's not, you can't page through them very easy. You still need a lot of surface area, so I need to figure that out. Oh yeah, Tamara, exactly. You find so many things you forgot. Yeah, we had a ton of art supplies, like a plastic bin of them, so I was able to empty that bin and find good spots for all of them where we can actually pull them out and use them really easily, and I'm pretty happy about that. I kind of made like a little painting area, and I want to attempt to paint again. We'll see how that goes. But now I have a whole clean area all set up for that. All right, I think the last one will make this color gray. Toss these all to the side. We'll still need that gray for the little pentagons that go up there. You've never done foundation piecing, but oh, you love Blair's English paper piecing. Oh, that's awesome, Gretchen. Yeah, we'll have to try a, what's the right side and wrong side on this one? We'll have to do a foundation paper piecing. Oh, I cannot. Okay, this is the right side. Geez, it's hard to tell. It's pretty wrinkled too. Let's go in this corner. I think this is the least wrinkled corner. But foundation paper piecing is kind of another thing altogether, and you gotta use the sewing machine for it. I think it'd be really fun though. It's fun, like all the different ways to do things. But yeah, this is definitely a different feel. So that's more of a machine. I mean, I suppose you don't have to use a machine, but it's a whole machine sewn thing, and it looks like you're making these super intricate things, but there's a process to it, like a magic process, which I love. But yeah, if you want a hand-stitched project to just chill and relax at, I mean, English paper piecing is the way to go for that. Not, well, I suppose foundation paper piecing can get relaxing too, but you got all sorts of tools out and need the machine and all that. So it's a different thing to tackle, but I think it's super fun. Okay, let's glue this guy and then we're all set up. Oh, what's the difference? Like, I mean, it's basically a totally different thing. I feel like it's what it is like you can have really intricate designs, but they're all printed on paper, and then you sew with the sewing machine onto that paper, and it's all like straight lines. So you do one straight line and the next line crosses that last straight line and the next one crosses that straight line. But if you do it according to the design, sometimes they can be really intricate. And when you're done, if you didn't know how they made it, how a quilter made it, it would be like, oh my God, how did they piece all those intricate, wacky shaped pieces all together? It's like a mystery, and it's this foundation paper piecing. The foundation means that you're sewing it onto a foundation, and the foundation in this case is the paper printout with the design on it. So it's different than English paper piecing, but you are using paper to help piece it, I guess. So that's why it sounds the same. All right, there we go. Let's get our big piece out again here and try and lay this out again. So, all right, we got the two up here. I don't know, I think, let's just go like this. All right, and those go like that. I'm gonna have to keep these in order so I get them on right. And I don't know, let's put this guy here and this lighter colored one there. All right, that is that. It's coming together. So, oh yeah, Gretchen, we did a lot of the foundation paper piecing in the Splendid sampler, like a lot. So if you are working on the Splendid sampler and a block comes up that's foundation paper piecing, be sure to check out, you know, the videos that we worked on here for that, and it should be helpful because it can be a process. It is a process, and there's a, you know, I think the way that we were doing it makes it kind of understandable and kind of easy. So I would definitely take a look at that. All right, I'm going to go right to left. So I'm going to start at this point here and then just kind of go along this whole bottom edge. Again, I think this is probably too much for one piece of thread. It's a little more difficult to do one long thread for this English paper piecing. So I'm just going to just do about that much. We'll use the little scissors. So I suspect I'll have to stop like in the middle and then start again. But we'll see. So, all right, I do have my size 10 straw needle here. And we'll tie a knot. Man, it's so funny when we start up a project again. I feel like I haven't done this in forever. This English paper piecing, like I feel like, okay, I got to remember how to do this and that again. But then, you know, you get going and it's makes sense again. But every time, okay, so I want to keep all of these intact so I don't mess it up. All right, but this guy goes first. So I'm sewing this edge to this edge here. So I'm going to put right sides together. And we'll start by getting those two corners matched up. I'm missing something. Oh, my little wonder clip. Let's grab one of those, a little mini wonder clip. And we were using the wonder clips. This does not close very well. There we go. I think that's closed. But we were using the wonder clips to hold our piece in place while we're stitching, just so it's a little less pressure on my hands to pinch it together. And that was working well last time. So I'm just gonna go around this point twice. You can tie a little knot. I'll just go through my loop and that'll kind of make a knot. I think that's good enough. And I'm doing the whip stitch. So I'm just going like a stitch length over, which is, you know, I'm just doing about 1/8 of an inch over. And, oh, thanks, Patricia. Yep, I just remembered. And I'm just going straight up through, like perpendicular to the seam, through just the edges of the seam. I'm not going through the paper at all, or I'm at least not trying to. And we're going just like a couple of threads worth on each side. So then I'm going to come back down. I'm always going down to up. And you can, you know, I'm just always starting on the lower edge and ending up at the upper edge. But some people do it the opposite direction. So start on the top and work this way. But I don't know. This is starting down and going up is just more comfortable in my hand. And I think do what's comfortable because you're making a whole lot of stitches here and you don't want to stress your hands out too much. Like my poor thumb where I burnt it on the iron yesterday. And then I hit something, so the skin is being mean to me. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna go around like the perimeter, or kind of the perimeter of the main piece to hook all these new ones together, and then I'll do the kind of phalanges coming out, the radiating lines coming out. That's how we did it last time, and I kind of liked doing it that way. It felt like we were doing a lot. All right, I'll get rid of this clip. Sorry guys, I missed a little bit of your conversation. Alrighty. Almost to the end of this one. And I tie that knot and double loop it at every single corner. Yep, I'm just using a single thread. We did a little test during the Splendid Sampler using 2 threads, because I'm like, oh, I'm used to using 2 threads and it'll just be more sturdy or whatever. And it was actually, it got to be, ooh, ouch. It got to be a huge bear to stitch with because, you know, one thread would go through the fabric a little differently than the other, and I got a whole pile of more knots. So I would definitely recommend just the one thread, not 2. And I mean, you're putting in so many stitches that I think you'll just be fine. All right. First guy. So let me just get in the position again so I can get the second one. All right, that one's gonna get folded over here. Oh, you go to a quilt retreat every year? Oh, so fun, that's neat. I've not been on a quilt retreat before, but it just sounds like relaxing and fun and oh man, I don't know. Just gonna chill out for the single purpose of hanging out and making quilts. Sounds pretty nice. Learning something new, most likely. All right, so I am attaching that corner again with my two loops and then kind of going through that last loop to make a little knot. Oh, it's going around that square. Ooh, double wedding ring. Oh, fun. Oh, I forgot. I have not made a double wedding ring quilt either, but it's kind of on my list of something I'd like to try. Oh yes, there are quilt cruises. I have heard of those too, but I don't know, that freaks me out a little bit. I don't know if I'd want to do one of those. All right. Yep, this is a quilt retreat every night. Oh, you don't have to cook anything on a quilt retreat. There you go. That's the deal. Yeah, that's true. Gosh, if you don't have to do all the normal house stuff or whatever just for like a period of time, that'd be nice. Oh, you would love to go on a cruise, a sewing cruise, a quilt retreat cruise. I don't know. I feel like being on water and all wavy and trying to do like handwork or something, that would be tough. But I suppose you'd get your sea legs going, I suppose. I don't know. There's a quilting cruise going on. The last cruise you went, oh, fun. Oh, there's a quilting cruise on it. Oh, and a lot of people on it. Huh. That's interesting. Do you have to bring your own sewing machines and stuff? That would be like kind of a bear. Probably not, maybe. Because you'd probably have to fly to get wherever the cruise is, and ugh, that'd be not fun to have to fly with your sewing machine and everything. All right, done with that. Let's, we got our first 2 phalanges on here. Next up, we have this blue guy. So right sides together. Again, right like that. Okay, let's get those points together, and then we should be good. Oh, they supplied Bernita machines. Oh, that's interesting, Amy. Oh, that would be neat, because then you'd get, I mean, it wouldn't be your own machine, so if you didn't use a Bernina, you'd get to learn a new machine and stuff too. When you think of quilting retreats, you think of people sitting around telling stories while hand stitching or in a cabin in the woods. Huh. Never been to one. Cruise ships are huge. Usually do not even feel the ship. Oh, interesting. Cruises usually provide they usually provide the machines. Oh, that's interesting. Varsha, I mean, a lot of people, Varsha asked when do I remove the papers? A lot of people keep them in until the project is entirely finished. I like taking them out as I go, and you can take them out once your entire segment is surrounded. So like once it's stitched on every single side, then you can pop it out. And that's why, all these ones on the edges, that's why I don't have them out yet, is because, this edge isn't surrounded yet. But, like this guy, technically we just surrounded him, so we could pop him out. But I'll finish up these guys first, this outer edge. But then, yeah, we'll pop out some of those. But once every side is surrounded, then you're safe to pop out the papers. And then, obviously the most outer edge, I'll have to pop those out with the edge, but I will press it really nice before I do that, and I'm going to immediately stitch it to the pillow. So I will wait to take those papers out until right before I stitch it to the pillow and after ironing, to make sure that I get those nice edges still. But yeah, once it's surrounded, you should be good. Surrounded on all sides by other pieces. I went on a cruise when we were little, but that was the only cruise I've been on. And I haven't been on a cruise as an adult, so I'm sure it's a different thing when you're an adult, I'm guessing. But yeah, any vacation where you can craft on it, I mean, I think there's potential there for sure, for some relaxation, and for me at least. All right, next up, ooh, this guy we get to do 2 edges here, so we'll start with this edge, right sides together. There we go. I'll grab my this is the most awkward one, if I remember, because we got this phalange over here and all this over here. We'll do it. So again, I'm going through the new corner twice and then going through my loop for a little knot. Okay. More whip stitches. I would at least like to get around my whole edge, so these all get attached tonight, and then we'll see how that goes. And then tomorrow we'll stitch all the phalange edges, all these connecting seams that we gotta attach. We'll do all those, and then we still have the 4 pentagons for this top area, so I'd like to prep those. And then I gotta go find my purple fabric. So I wanted to do purple fabric for my pillow, at least the front of the pillow, probably the back too. I think I'll just do the same for the back. And I gotta find that. So I got a dark purple solid fabric somewhere. I generally know where, but I'm gonna have to dig a little bit. But I'll get that out so it's ready when we need it, and then we'll have to do some math and measuring and stuff. Oh, you went to Venice and the Greek islands on a cruise. Oh, gosh. That's pretty neat. So yeah, my parents went on a cruise with like my grandpa and several years ago. It was one of those cruises where they were going through Europe and stopping at a bunch of places there. And I think she got food poisoning on the cruise, so I think she's not wild about cruises. I think the only reason she went on that one is because she knew it was, you know, it was stopping at all these cities along the way, so she wouldn't be stuck on a boat. Yeah, the purple really made it pop. I think it's going to be good. It's kind of like, it's almost like this purple here. So it really kind of jumped off of the back, jumped off of it because it was a little darker, the fabric, which is good because I didn't really do darks, mediums, and lights, or I didn't really do value very well on this. It was more about color. I've noticed with the I Love Home quilt. Oh, this one we got to do this edge too. So let's get our thread out of the way and then put these right sides together. And do this. But I've noticed that I'm not, when I pick my fabric, I'm not addressing value issues as much as I probably should. And what I mean by that is value is like how dark or light a fabric is. So you have color, like, you know, this is clearly like reds and these are kind of blue, greens. So there's differences in color, which is the hue. But then there's value. So that's like light to dark, like in grayscale. So if you just had like all the way to light would be white and all the way to dark would be black. And then you have all the grays in between. So all the colors and all the fabrics have a value that you can kind of say, okay, this fabric is lighter or darker than this fabric that's next to it. So the lighter one has a lighter value than the darker one, you know, and that's no matter what color it is. Actually, if you take a photo of the fabric and then turn it to grayscale, then you can get a better sense of value. And if you actually squint, then it kind of turns everything to grayscale and you can get a better value or sense of value. And the reason that value is important is because you can make certain motifs pop out a little bit more if you want to. I mean, if you want to, it's a design decision. So like, for example, with this, I kind of have, my pinks are almost the same value as my blues and greens. The blues and greens are maybe a hair lighter. I mean, maybe not this one, but like this, you know, if we're looking at just this section, this stuff is a hair lighter than these, but in general, it's about the same. So I'm using kind of a medium value all at once, but let's just say that I did all my pinks as like a really dark, deep pink, then it would appear super dark compared to this really light area. Kind of like this, this one's a little darker. If I did all of it pink, then because of the value, because this is light and because this is dark and it's so different, it's gonna pop out. Like that dark motif is gonna pop out against that light motif a little bit more. And I haven't been paying all that close attention to it. And because I haven't been paying close attention to it, a lot of my stuff are all kind of in the medium value range. So they're all kind of the same, which kind of makes everything mush together. Like nothing really pops. And, which is fine. I might be going, you know, in theory, you can on purpose do that. Maybe you want to like blend all these pretty things together and then have something over here pop or whatever. So then in that case, what we're doing is just fine. But if you wanted like this flower motif to really pop, then not only would you look at the colors, I mean, we've done that. We've done the pink versus the green, But if you think about value, that's another way to exaggerate or less or not exaggerate, depending on what you want to do. It's another way to control color, basically. Control design. So I've noticed with this project and with the I Love Home project that I need to maybe work on some value shifts a little bit more, so all my things don't end up just being medium and in the middle and blend together. All right, I'm gonna tie this little knot here, and I might get a new piece of thread too. I might be able to get one more out of here. It's getting a little curly, but we'll see. I think, yeah, we'll do one more and then I'll switch. Okay, this guy goes here. All right, so I'm just gonna do this one edge and then we'll get this phalange later. So right sides together, doing this edge. Oh, you love my color choices for the I Love Home quilt, Carla. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. That one, you know, it's kind of, I've been using a lot of scraps lately, so I've been more concerned about really enjoying the scraps I'm using versus, oh, I can't use that scrap because it needs to be a really dark value here or a really light value. So I haven't been so focused on that, and which is fine. So I like the fabrics I chose. I think it's, for the I Love Home quilt, it's a different color palette than I would normally use and different fabrics that I would normally use. And for me, that was my challenge. That was my experiment with the I Love Home. I always like trying something new with every project. And for that, it was like, okay, I'm going to experiment with these fabrics, and it's fabrics that I bought a bajillion years ago that I loved but never had a project for it, and I finally organized all my fabric and I'm like, I'm gonna start using this stuff up. So the challenge was, I had two fabrics that I really wanted to use, and how do I make those work together, because they didn't necessarily work together. So I had to find a whole bunch of other fabrics that kind of blended it together. But yeah, just looking at it, I think I like that. I like picking those fabrics, but I think I do need to start remembering to think about value a little bit more as I do it. And the thing is, I've already picked out the fabrics for, oh, thank you. I already picked out the fabrics for the, oh, I should show you, I brought it out here, but I picked my fabrics for the charming chevrons. Oh, I haven't put a link to this yet. I'll try and remember to put a link to this project. You can find it on Amazon or her website. It's Krista Quilts. This is our next project after, well, we'll be doing the unicorn, but this is our next big project after we finish the I Love Home. But so for this, you have a variety of colors, but you have one kind of main background color. So you can see this main background color is gray, and then it has all those colors, and in this example, the background color is this dark blue with all the colors. I liked how bold this dark blue was, so I'm using up fabrics that I've had forever, but my background fabric is gonna be this like bright red. And then I have all these are from like my cherished stacks of fabric that I haven't ever used really. You know, the fabric that's been sitting on my shelf just looking pretty. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna use these. These are like rich and painty, and I thought, you know, they'd look good with this bright red. Although, again, I'm not thinking about value all that much. Like these all kind of blend in. Like if I put this next to this, see how this is almost, like if you squint, this is almost the same color. So that may be a problem. It's gonna, instead of it being so light and then dark, my quilt's just gonna blend. It's just gonna be kind of muted. So I'm not gonna have, even though I'm using a pretty bold color, I'm not gonna have the boldness that this has, because it's very dark and very light, very dark, very light comparatively, whereas mine are almost all very similar to this. I mean, you do have a few that are a hair lighter and a few that are a hair darker, but not by much. So I'm going to have, these are kind of lighter, but I'm going to have another project where it all blends together as like a neutral sort of mush of color. And that's what you get when you don't think about value. But you know what? There's prettiness in that too. Everything doesn't need to be super high contrast. So I would call this high contrast, where you have really lights and dark darks. You know, not everything has to be that way. You can have them blend together and stuff too. And that's what that quilt's going to be. Another blended together color scheme. But you know what? They're rich, kind of saturated colors that I kind of like. Yeah, I won't have the contrast exactly, Patricia. But it'll be as subtle. It'll be a color shift, a color and pattern shift. And you know what? Maybe that's what I want. I might not want a big, bright, contrasty thing. However, we are going to be doing that granny square quilt, and I'll have to put a link to that again. But for that, I think that is going to be my value test. So like I said, I like to have an experiment running with every project. I think for that one, I'm really going to think about value. So a lot of time, you know, if you've seen a granny square crocheted blanket, that's kind of what this quilt is going to be modeled after. You'll have the white background and then the bright colored squares. So those squares pop so much because they're on that white background. If those bright colors were on a bright background, they wouldn't pop. But because it's on the white, it pops. So I might not do white for my background, but I want to do, maybe I will, I don't know. But I want to play with value, because I think with the granny squares, you really want to see those squares, or I would like to on mine. So I think since I'm noticing it as a theme that I'm not really paying attention to value, I think maybe for that quilt, I will really pay attention. And that will just be what I do for that one. I think I have a little thread left. I'm going to keep going. So that's good. So I have a little bit of a plan for that one. Well, I'm organized on that project. I actually don't remember what size I was intending to do the chevron quilt. I think I was thinking a queen size, because then it could be used as like a guest quilt, like a guest blanket quilt. So I think I cut enough solid background based on the instructions for the background color for a queen size, although I can't remember if I did that, so I'm gonna have to measure it again. But I don't think I picked enough colorful pieces for a queen size. And I'm kind of using, they're not scraps, but some are fat eighths and some are fat quarters and some are, you know, other odd sizes. So I don't even know how many squares. So I might just have to cut all the squares, or whatever the instruction says. I think we cut a bunch of squares. And then I'm gonna have to count, and I might have to go find some more fabric to add to this, but we'll see. But I still like the idea of a queen size quilt. Although, now that I think of it, this was the project, the chevron quilt was the project that I wanted to practice free motion quilting on. Like, that was my objective, was free motion quilting. Every chevron, row of chevrons, I'm gonna practice a new stitch or something, or get better. Like, you know, if my circles were horrible at first, I'm gonna keep working on them until I like them, and then start another design or something with each stripe. And maybe a queen size quilt is not the best idea for a first free motion quilting quilt. So, but I don't know. Go big or go home, I suppose. Tamara, it is the Charming Chevrons quilt. Charming Chevrons, and it's by Krista Quilts. I'm sure if you Google Krista Quilts there, you'll get it. And she doesn't have the website on here, but I believe it's just kind of KristaQuilts.com. And I'll find a link. Yeah, it's a bunch of half square triangles, but they're done in kind of a clever way. And I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so 7 yards of background. I'm just gonna have to measure again. It's been sitting around for a while because I decided, ooh, this is the project. I can use up all my pretty fabric that's been on my shelf for 10 years because it's pretty and I don't want to cut into it. I'm finally gonna cut into it for this one. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to make, I think. It's gonna be one of those quilts where you can just get in the groove and chain piece for an hour, and we haven't worked on one of those in a while. All of our quilts that we've been making are just so intricate. They all, each block is different and all that, except for the hourglass quilt. That was kind of fun. That was a one design thing that we just got to play with. This is going to be similar to that. I'm excited. I'm excited to start cutting into that fabric. Oh, you love Krista Watson. Oh, this will be the second of her quilts for you to sew. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I also have her free motion quilting book, and I'm going to be using that as a guide. So I'll start putting information for that project up here too, since we've been talking about it a little bit more lately. That's not going to come up till like January, I think. All right, I'm done with this. I'm going to just tuck in the thread here. But, you still want to get the pattern and supplies and all that before then. So I'll start putting information up for that. All right, we got about halfway done with that one thread. So I'll get about the same length, I think, for the next. Oh, it's 10:20 already. Can we get 4 more done? I think so. Let's get these last 4 done quick. I want them attached. Getting late already. All right. Well, I'm glad the needle was where it was supposed to be all along. Because I have no idea where I would have. I'm pretty good at not setting needles places. I'm pretty good at, getting them back to where they need to be. So me not knowing where this needle was freaking me out. But it was just in the pincushion. All right. Right sides together. Where'd my clip go? 4 more, and then we have all of this next round attached. Again, we still have those. You can unfold this a little and just get you can move the wings like out of the way and just get the corners. But we just have those little pentagons then. Extra little flowers, or chrysanthemum pieces, I think they're called. All these have their own little names that I didn't know about. Like these long hexagons, I think are called honeycombs. I think that's what they were. And the pentagons are called chrysanthemums. Is this video on a time schedule? I'm not quite sure what you mean, Patricia, but we are, I do this live every weekday at 9:30 p.m. Central, so it's always at 9:30. So if you're wondering, if that's what you're wondering, it's always 9:30 Central Time. Oh, you're having trouble with audio. We're good on my end here today. Sometimes it says poor connection or something, but we've been good today. If you guys are having a lot of trouble ever, this is so stupid, but it seems to work a lot of times. Try, what is it called when you get rid of an app? Uninstall. Jeez. Try uninstalling the Facebook app completely. You won't lose any of your data or anything for Facebook. You won't lose your username or anything. But uninstall it and then go to the App Store again and install it. And oftentimes that helps, which, that shouldn't happen. I don't end at a specific time, Patricia, but I do kind of keep it to an hour. So it's around 10 or 9:30 to 10:30. Every once in a while, we'll just find a good stopping spot and it'll be a hair earlier, or we just want to finish something so it'll go a hair longer. But in general, it's about an hour that we hang out here. Unless there's some weird special circumstance or something. Or if there's tech issues and my thing keeps cutting out, then that's another story. But nope, usually an hour. I should say that at the beginning. I don't remember to do that all the time. All right, corner. I kind of want to try and get these other 3 stitched on yet, but you know what? I might save these because there is that one that we got to do the whole extra. I think we might actually stop right here for the night. I know we're not quite done. I got chit-chatting and we had to prep these pieces at the beginning, so we're not quite done, but we'll finish this up, or this next stage tomorrow, I think. So tomorrow we'll stitch these 3 on these 3 guys, and then we'll go back and we gotta sew all these little lines in, and that might be all we get done. But if we have more time, then we'll at least prep these. These still go, we need 4 of these little chrysanthemums, I guess, little pentagons. They're odd shaped, they're like stretched pentagons. Those will go in the corners yet, but we got to finish this row and all the little guys coming out of it first. So, all right, I am going to, this time I will keep my needle with the fabric right there, so I don't forget it. But all right, I think we'll just call it there for the night because this is going to take a little longer than what I think. So okay, I'm gonna flip you guys around and I'll show you what we got going on here. Oh, 10:30 to 11:40. Yeah, around 10:30 to 11:30 in Michigan. Yeah, it's funny. You go right across the border, and we're like on the edge in Wisconsin. I'm not in Wisconsin, but in my head, I'm sometimes in Wisconsin because I'm from Wisconsin. All right, so here we go. All our little phalanges. If I hold it up this way, it'll probably be easier. So this is what we did tonight. All these little feathers kind of hanging out there. But it's coming together. It's going to get done. So again, when we're done with this, I'm going to sew it to this pillow. But I'm going to do, it's going to be on a background color that's kind of this color purple. Get back a little further. It's a big pillow. This is an 18-inch. Yeah, this is an 18-inch size pillow if you're looking for a good size pillow for this. But anyway, there we go. More English paper piecing. We'll take out a bunch of these pieces tomorrow as well. So got a good start. Got back on the bike for English paper piecing, and I'm feeling good about it again. Back into it. So awesome. We will continue this, finish it fall for the rest of October. We'll actually do finish it fall through November 4th. Then there's a weekend, and November 6th is when we start block 4 of the I Love Home quilt along. I know, it's big, isn't it? The English paper piecing, all these pieces together, they just keep adding up. So thanks again, guys. I will be back here tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's Friday already tomorrow. And I will get this up on YouTube tonight at Penguin and Fish Movies, and it will stay here on Penguin and Fish on Facebook. Thanks again. I will catch you tomorrow. Good night.